All right. Well, let me just check something to confirm with you guys. So, make video. No white sugar, no dairy, and no gluten. Since the 16th of January, okay, to the 26th of May. So now we're the 26th of June. I just realized it's exactly a month after. I didn't even plan for this. It just, okay, that's amazing. So 4 months, 2 weeks, or 140 days, or 18 weeks of no white sugar at all, and no gluten at all, like not even traces, and no dairy. I know I made a video which blew up and now has over 1,000 views. Thank you so much for that. About quitting sugar, gluten, and dairy for 30 days. This is a whole lot more. This is, 140 days. Now the question is, why did I stop on the 26th of May? Why am I not still doing this? And why did I even start this? Well, I have made 2 videos, maybe even 3, I'm not even sure anymore. I made a couple videos on doing my microkinesiology testing, which was all about basically helping me get back my energy, which I used to have, and deal with mood swings and all sorts of issues. And I had to go and eliminate certain foods from my diet. And some of those foods were indeed gluten, dairy, and white sugar. What happened is that during the quarantine times, I wasn't able to go and see my chiropractor, the person that was testing in microkinesiology, the person that was testing me. So it was the 26th of May when we were finally able to go back to the clinic, when in Quebec they started easing down, and we retested. And as a surprise, even to her, because everybody whenever they test white sugar, they test negative. Typically speaking, they actually she actually needs to reboot them. It's not even just negative. Okay, let's go to the next one. It's like, okay, I need to reboot you and do a little magical thing to you. Okay, so whenever we tested, my body was just like, we're good. I'm not being hit. I'm just like showing how it works. So I was like, my body was just fine. With gluten, same thing, was fine. Dairy, fine. And by dairy, we weren't testing for lactose. We were testing for casein. Pretty sure that's how you say it in English. And I was testing negative at first for 4 months and 2 weeks. And now it doesn't test negative. Well, maybe now it would test negative because I've been going crazy for the past months, but whatever, that's besides the point. So, what are the benefits that I've gotten, or at least the benefits that I would relate to no white sugar, gluten, or dairy for 140 days? Since this is pretty much unheard of for most people, unless obviously you're lactose intolerant and you really don't like the effects you get, and you just so happen to be celiac, and you just so happen to, I don't know, be like my aunt and just not eat any sugar because, I don't know, reasons. This is pretty unheard of because there's sugar, gluten, and dairy in almost everything nowadays, and it's not even good quality most of the time. It's pretty CARP, if you know what I mean. So what are the benefits I've gotten? The only way I can tell you benefits is by telling you how I felt after eating gluten, dairy, and white sugar in the past 30 days, past month. So on the 26th of May, I had gluten for the first time, which was in a, whenever I had shawarma, I had like the little bread, which was super low quality flour. And I don't know, felt pretty fine. My energy was fine. My digestion felt fine at least that day and the day after. Maybe the day after that, 2 days after I had it, it was worse and I didn't notice. That's the annoying thing about nutrition, is that it's really hard to say what foods your body doesn't really agree with because, let's say you have like lasagna, it could be the nightshades, in other words, the tomatoes, it could be the dairy, it could be whatever grain you're using, usually wheat for the pasta. It could be anything else really that you're adding in there, So I'm gonna say gluten. It was fine at first, but then after that I had a bit of organic cereal from Provigo, which was basically just like wheat, little square wheats. I don't know, it's just like bloating. I just did not feel very good, and it did not digest very well. That was the best that was like the number one way that I could tell that my body did not really like digesting gluten. And generally speaking, from the research that's been done, nobody can really digest gluten properly. But this time was really bad. My poop, my stool, if you want to, be fancy, was terrible. It looked like a bunch of mush. It looked like, you take like a normal, like well-rounded poop and then you just like mashed it like it's mashed potatoes, basically. So it didn't look too good. It was like that for a couple days after, and then I had it again, and I noticed that I still had the same thing, a bit of bloating, kind of like a little downtrend of energy, and weird stool. For dairy, I mean, I had pizza, I had poutine, I've had, I don't know what else have I had. I've had yogurt. I've been having yogurt recently. I think the main one has been yogurt that's been weird digestively. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just kind of feels like my like insides. Because yesterday I added yogurt to my smoothie, as I have been doing, but I also had a huge bowl of frozen fruit with yogurt, and I really feel it this morning. Like, I woke up and I was like, ugh, it's like, it feels like your entire insides are like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? Like, it's not good. So it felt like there was a lot of inflammation. It did not feel like my insides appreciated it very much. So I'm gonna say inflammation and maybe a bit of bloating. I mean, last night I definitely experienced bloating, but it was not because of that. So I'm gonna say gluten, very weird stools, bloating, a little downtrend of energy, probably because it's a massive insulin spike. Dairy, which was mainly, I don't know, I guess you could say weird digestion stuff going on. Potentially also a downtrend of energy. I can't really say for sure. I mean, it's Greek yogurt that's organic. I mean, I was mainly taking it because of probiotics and because of the protein. But to be quite frank, I think whenever I finish the tub, I'm not gonna get any more. Just because, I don't know, it just feels like there's a lot of inflammation, a lot of bloating going on, and I don't want that in my life. Apart from that, there's the white sugar. And white sugar, it's pretty obvious what it does. I mean, it gets you hella addicted to it. You just want more and more and more. It's going to mess up your whatever microbiome, but obviously you can't really observe that. I can't just be like, hey, yo, like what's going on in there. But what I can tell you is that from the times which I've had white sugar, which I had it in like these coconut crisp rolls, kind of like crunchy rolls, and felt fine. I mean, I had at certain occasions just one or two, and other occasions I had like 10. And it just kind of felt like I got a little spike of energy, and then it just kind of went down, and I was just chilling. So quitting sugar, I would say, just stabilizes your energy a bit more. Obviously, if you're, banging out a bunch of other things which will make you go boom, 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 then it's not really going to help, Like, if you're going to try to have stable energy during the day, quitting sugar is not really going to do it. I mean, it's definitely going to help. But doing the best way to get stable energy throughout the day is something like keto, where you're mainly eating fat and protein, and just like one to three big meals, and then boom, you'll be good. Depending on who you are, because for me that doesn't really work. If I have a big meal, I crash and I feel like trash for hours. That's besides the point. Yeah, so no gluten, dairy, or sugar. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, I would recommend that you try for 30 days like I did my other challenge whenever I did no sugar November. I would recommend trying that, even if it's just sugar or even if it's just gluten or just dairy. I recommend doing it, and if you crave pizza or poutine, if you're Quebecois or if you know about it, I would say just try making one that's healthier, Like making pizza, you can do all sorts of different things. You can use almond flour, you can use almond milk. For the cheese, you can use cashew butter with nutritional yeast. You could even use some store-bought versions of it, which looks a little bit more like cheese, but it's a little bit more processed. To be honest, even if I had to do no gluten, dairy, sugar for the rest of my life, I think I'd be fine with it, to be honest. I mean, it would suck a little bit for the practical aspect. You wouldn't really be able to go to like 90% of the places. Even if it's just like a little bit, you won't be able to have it, which was the main annoying thing. So I'm gonna say I'm happier now. I'm happy that I did it. Now we're moving on to different kinds of work with the gyros, and yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video, which will probably be, like I said in my last video, my smoothie slash my whole morning routine slash what I do in a day slash potentially talking about the liver flush, which is very interesting. All right, thank you for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.